Right, welcome to another video or series of videos. This is going to be a simple guide and analysis of the 2015 AQA AS level computing code. So this is for the Comp 1 exam, which is on the 1st of June in the morning, I believe. Yes, 9 o'clock on the 1st of June. We will all be sitting there doing this exam. So I'm going to be doing this in VB.NET simply because that's the language we've been working in. And so you can see the code here in front of me. This video is just going to be a bit of an overview and introduction to the code itself and what it does at the moment. So exams on the 1st of June, and let's just have a look. Let's just run the code as it is. So we see that it asks us to play a sample game. We're going to say for now no. And you notice that it displays a board for us, and this is the game basically. So to play, we enter the coordinates of a piece we want to move with the file, this going this way first and the rank second. So we could say move the piece in 2.7, which is this piece here, up to 2.6, and that would move the piece. So it's very similar to a game of chess. It's played on an 8x8 board with 16 pieces on each team. However, the way that each piece moves is different to pieces in chess, although some of them are basically exactly the same. Okay, so I just changed the font size in the console to make it easier to see. So you notice we have 2 letters in each square, and so each letter tells us something about the piece. So the first letter is the team which that piece is on, so we have B for black and W for white, just like chess. And the second letter is the type of piece which is represented in that square. So we have R for readum or redum, however you want to say it. We have G for gizgir, very silly name. E for etlu, N for nabu, M for matzaz pani, and S for sarrum, which obviously is the namesake of this game. So we're just going to go through how each of these pieces can move. So let's start off with the sarrum. So the sarrum, which is represented with an S, can move from its starting position, which I'll mark with an X. It can move 1 square in any direction, either horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. So as long as it hasn't moved more than 1 in any direction, then that move isn't allowed. The next piece is the matzaz pani, which is represented with an M. Put some colons in there. And that can move in a similar way, but we can't move to the diagonal corners, so that can move both horizontally and vertically, but only 1 square. Next we have the nabu, which is represented with an N, and that can do the opposite of the matzaz pani. That can move to the diagonals next to its starting position, so it can move 1 square in any direction diagonally. So the matzaz pani and the nabu are quite similar, although we have 2 of these, 2 nabus on a board, and just 1 matzaz pani for each team. So next piece is the etlu, which is, I believe, translated as like the warrior or something on the preliminary material. So that can move from its starting position. It can jump over this square, so it doesn't matter if there's a piece there, it can jump over it. It can move 1 square and then to the square beyond that. It can do that horizontally and vertically, but not diagonally. So this is the only piece that can jump, I believe, and that's just how that works. It can't move it can't move to this square here, but it can move past that square. So you have to be quite careful with these. The next piece is the gizgir, which I'll write out here because it's a silly spelling. There's too many G's in it, I think. That's represented with this G here. Now that can move much like in fact, exactly like a rook in chess. So that can move in any horizontal or vertical direction, any number of spaces to its destination. However, unlike the etlu, it can't jump over any pieces. So if it encounters a piece on that journey that it can't move past it. And the last piece is possibly the most insignificant, because there's 8 of them, and obviously that means that they're the least important. I joke. And that is the redim, which is equivalent to a pawn in chess. So the way this one works is it's from its starting position, which will either be at the bottom or the top of the board. So if it's the bottom, it's in a white redim, at the top it's a black redim. They can only move 1 space forwards at any time. So they can move 1 space forwards or 1 space downwards if you're black, or 1 space upwards if you're white. Now, this piece can take pieces, but only if, say, the piece you're moving is here and the piece you want to take is here, so T for target. It can only take that piece if it's 1 square across and 1 square up from where you are. And so I can move diagonally and take that piece. That's the only time that a redim can take another piece. Another thing about the redim is once it gets to the other end of the board, so they start off in the second rank of whatever side you're on, so you have all your complicated pieces back here and you have the redims at the front. So yeah, if you're white, then you need to get to the top rank, which will be rank 1, and if you're black, you need to get to the bottom rank, which is rank 8. And once you do that, that redim will change into a Marzaz Pani, which, as we saw over here, can move 1 space either horizontally or vertically. So it's kind of the equivalent of the queen in chess, except much less powerful. So it's not very exciting. Now, the preliminary material does mention some historic evidence for a piece that's called the Kashaptu, which is spelt like this. No, it's not. What am I talking about? It's spelt like this. And they don't tell you how that piece moves, so something we have to be careful of is if that comes up in the exam, they may ask you to create a new piece and set up how that moves. So we have to pay attention to the validation for each of these, how these pieces move, so we can tell how to do the validation of this. So that just about winds it up for this little introduction. Tells you how the game is played and, well, the pieces in the game.